What's going on, guys? Aero here, and welcome back to another video. And on today's video, I want to talk to you guys more about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, as from the time that I'm making this video, the game is just 3 days away from coming out, and I feel like I should talk about something that I haven't really seen any other videos on, but I do feel like it's probably going to be important, and that is Future Connected. Now, Future Connected was a new additional epilogue that you got with the re-release of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch in 2020, and I remember there was a lot of excitement for it when it was first revealed, but after people did get the game and play through it, a lot of people weren't really super happy with it. I actually saw a lot of people saying they were kind of disappointed by it, saying that it was a letdown, and I definitely do feel that it was a little bit misunderstood, and that some people didn't kind of understand what the point of the epilogue was, but I do think that Future Connected is actually going to be pretty important, especially with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about in this video. Now, real quick before we get started, I just want to let you guys know that I am partnered with Best Buy, and so there will be links below in the description and the pinned comment to Xenoblade Chronicles, the physical copy, as well as the digital copy. If you click those links and then pre-order from there, you can really support me and help out the channel a lot, and the reason why Best Buy is so awesome is because they'll actually give you the physical copy the day that it comes out. So I know with the collector's edition, if any of you guys ordered that, I ordered it from My Nintendo as well, and it looks like they've been telling people that you're probably not going to be getting the game exactly when it comes out, and you might have to wait a couple more days. So if you're like me and you have to play Xenoblade 3 the day that it's available and you want a physical copy or even a digital download code, definitely be sure to click the link below in the description or the pinned comment. They'll give you free shipping and it'll be delivered right to your doorstep on launch day on Friday. Alright, but now in terms of this video, I want to talk to you guys about kind of the connections and little things that they put inside of Future Connected that I do feel like are going to be important inside of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because I do feel like that Future Connected is kind of going to be one of those games that we're going to come back to after playing Xenoblade 3, and we're going to be able to understand a lot more of what the characters were talking about, what some of the NPCs said, what kind of the cutscenes were and the events that happened, because I really do think it's kind of going to be a big reason to kind of the stuff that happens and the way that everything is inside of Xenoblade 3. Now, one of the cool things about Future Connected is they actually get brand new outfits for both Shulk and Melia, and Melia probably has my favorite outfit for her in Future Connected out of all the outfit options that she has. This black one that she has right here just looks the best on her. I really love it. But the cool thing that I want to talk about is this outfit that Shulk wears, because it has this interesting kind of belt that's on it with this circular ring. Now, I don't know if this has any type of significance, but I do find it very interesting because if we take a look in Xenoblade 3 with the Keves characters, which are obviously inspired by Xenoblade Chronicles 1, if we take a look at the Keves characters, they all have a very similar type of character design as well, where we can see they have that circular belt on all of the characters that are on that side. Now, I don't know how long exactly Xenoblade 3 takes place after Xenoblade 1, but the fact that they're basically using like the Future Connected kind of design here is something that I found pretty interesting. There were also a couple of new characters that were introduced in Future Connected, one of them being like the side villain type of character, aside from the Fog King who's like the main villain, being this High Entia Gelgar. Now, I think a lot of people can agree that Gelgar was a pretty big letdown of a character. I've never really met anyone who's like, oh, this is my favorite character, I really love him. I think a lot of people are kind of just indifferent about him or don't really like him at all. But the thing about this character is I do think that he has a chance of potentially returning in Xenoblade 3. Now, when we do get to Gelgar's death scene, he kind of just jumps off of this cliff here, but we don't get to see like a body or anything, so it's a very kind of vague death, and a lot of people don't know for sure if he's actually dead or if he could still be alive, and considering he was an entire like full-grown High Entia, we've already seen that High Entia are able to fly, like with what Tyrea does, so it's very possible like he could have just jumped off this cliff and then flown away or done something else, and I think that because of that, they did kind of leave his death mysterious on purpose, because then that way he could kind of show up as like a surprise character inside of Xenoblade 3 somehow. Maybe that way he could actually become a better character and they can add more to him, because inside of Future Connected, I think a lot of people can agree that he just wasn't the best. Now, the final boss of Future Connected, being the Fog King, is also very interesting because it comes out of this rift, and we don't know exactly how this rift appeared in Xenoblade 1's world and why it's happening, but people have noticed that the final boss of Future Connected is the exact same as the Infernal Guldo from Chapter 8 inside of Xenoblade 2, where obviously they're using the exact same attacks, they even have the same movements, You can see from the cutscene that's playing on screen right now, and it's very interesting because after beating this boss inside of Chapter 8 in Xenoblade 2, Rex finds this ID card, which we later find out is the exact same ID card that was on Galea when we see that scene with Klaus creating the brand new universe. And of course, Klaus does explain inside of Xenoblade 2 that the monsters that you find in the land of Moritha, where we fight this boss, are the remnants of kind of the people that were a part of the original world, meaning that was kind of what the form of Galea turned into, whereas of course Galea in Xenoblade 1's world became a goddess known as Meyneth. So now because of that, and the same monster from Xenoblade 2 that was Galea being a part of Xenoblade 1's world, doesn't mean now that Meyneth is kind of back now, or that Galea is somehow in Xenoblade 1's universe. I definitely do think that this is going to be kind of important, and especially with this entire rift, I feel like it's going to be kind of responsible for the reason that these two universes fuse together, and why the world of Ionios is basically Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2's universes combined. Now, a lot of the events that happen in Future Connected are pretty much all revolved around Melia, who you can really kind of say is the true protagonist of Future Connected, and they even talk about that, and I feel like it's really cool because, of course, Future Connected was made at the same time that they were making Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and we know that Melia is going to be the Queen of Keves inside of Xenoblade 3, so it's so cool how this game was basically made because Melia is going to have a lot of stuff that happens in Future Connected that's going to relate to kind of how she becomes the way that she does inside of Xenoblade 3. And there's even like this one part of Future Connected where she says like, I have an ill premonition and disaster is kind of looming over everyone's future, especially because of what we see in Xenoblade 3 with kind of the crazy disaster of these two nations of Keves and Agnes fighting each other and how she's a queen. So it's just so cool to me how they made Future Connected knowing full well exactly what they were going to do inside of Xenoblade 3. Takahashi is just insane, man. He even said that in his quote here, where it says here, when it comes to new elements, the biggest addition is a region not finished in time for the original game, the Bionis Shoulder, which sets the stage for the game's new story scenario Future Connected. Much like Torna the Golden Country added to the main game of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Future Connected focuses on the character and story of Melia after the events of the main scenario come to a close. Why Melia and not Fiora, Rein, Dunban, Charlotte, or Ricky, you might ask? Well, that's because this scenario isn't simply a new story to be told, but a waystone of sorts pointing towards the future. The events that take place and the words that are spoken by the characters in Future Connected are linked to the future of Xenoblade Chronicles itself. And it's our hope at Monolith that as you experience this new scenario, you'll enjoy dreaming of what sort of future that might be. To all of you who've been with us since the Xenoblade series began, and to those of you starting your journey with us, we hope the possibilities for the future of Xenoblade Chronicles inspire you as you play. So yeah, he basically just said here that Future Connected directly ties into Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and that explains exactly why Melia is such a big focus, because we know now that she is going to be inside of Xenoblade 3. Now, Takahashi also mentioned how the dialogue that is said inside of Future Connected is also going to be important to the future of Xenoblade with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and one of the really interesting things that was discovered is what one of these Nopon says, where he says here, Redudo have brilliant idea, should all think up way of transform. Everyone say magic words into friendship bracelets and then transform into mighty monster form. But in game like this, it's important to get details right, for maximum immersion. Friends know any good magic words? Now, while just playing through Future Connected, this sounds kind of meaningless, but now after knowing Xenoblade Chronicles 3, this is basically hinting at the Ouroboros fusions, where you basically turn into a mighty monster form by immersing so well with the other characters that you can turn into these things, and it's just so crazy how they kind of just snuck that into the Future Connected. And then really the most exciting thing that I can say from Future Connected that's probably going to have some importance inside of Xenoblade 3 is the new Monado that Shulk uses, being called the Monado Replica EX or the Monado Rex. Now the thing about this that's so weird is that we've already gotten DLC confirmed for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and if we take a look at this beautiful key art, we can actually see here all three swords with Noah's brand new sword, the Aegis sword from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as well as this Monado EX from Future Connected. And the fact that they use the Monado EX is what makes this so interesting, because it basically implies that this DLC has a very good chance of being canon, as it's actually going to take place after Future Connected, which is why we see the Monado EX here. Obviously, if this was just going to be like a fan service type of thing, then the original Monado would definitely be the better sword to pick from Xenoblade 1. That's the iconic sword that everybody recognizes, but because this is probably going to have a chance of finally giving us that dream kind of situation of potentially seeing characters from Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, and Xenoblade 3 all meet together and have it all make sense canonically, it's just so exciting, because if you played Xenoblade 1, then you know exactly after beating the game why the original Monado would no longer exist. And that's why the actual Monado is just a fun skin that you can get from the Shulk amiibo inside of the base game, as it's not going to have any type of story significance. So now it just makes me very excited to see what this DLC scenario is actually going to be like with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Maybe we'll kind of get an idea for it from playing the base game, but either way, just seeing all these swords together here makes me so excited to see what they come up with. But yeah, there you go guys, those are pretty much all of the teases and hints from Future Connected into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. If you guys enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to click that like button and also comment down below and let me know what you guys think of this. How do you guys feel about these kind of hints and teases for Xenoblade Chronicles 3? Do you think that they're going to have a lot of importance or a little bit? And do you think that more of it is kind of going to be explained? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. If you're new to this channel, then please be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to have some more Xenoblade content in the future, so definitely be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Click on that bell to become a part of the notification squad. Go follow me on Twitter at Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.